What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, go over the latest and updates and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 0.46%, 216 the low, 222 the high. So not really much going on for Lucid today. Relatively low volume, so 37 million shares being traded. 137 is the average. Majority of the volume is, again, no different than over the last week and a half, primarily coming from algorithmic trading. But looking on the secondary market, you are seeing 5 transactions, all of which are buys above 100,000. So big money is definitely buying Lucid. I'm sure not to the same extent that a lot of us ideally would like, but nonetheless, pretty good to see. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool, so relatively quiet, and I'm pretty sure majority of these are linked to shorts and what they are doing. But ultimately, the market is very optimistic right now because of several things. One of which was the whole ceasefire coming from the Middle East. Market loves that. Then you also did have the White House pretty much stating that there's going to be numerous tariff deals prior to July the 4th. So market loves that, really pushing higher. And then the S&P is above that key psychological point of 6,000. So today would be the second consecutive day for it to close above that, insinuating more upside on a larger macro scale. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. When it comes down to Fed speakers today, they were relatively bearish, and market doesn't seem to care all that much, which is rather interesting. So starting off, you did have Hammock ultimately stating that there won't be any cuts, at least for the foreseeable future, so higher for longer type of mentality. And then Powell said the exact same thing. So kind of interesting to see that 2 Fed speakers mention that, and the market doesn't seem to care all that much. So goes to show that the market is really ready to move higher. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, specific to Lucid, there really isn't anything whatsoever. So no press releases. Latest in SEC filings were 4 Form 4's, all submitted after hours on June the 20th. And I did bring this up on my Friday video, but ultimately you have Mark right here, all transaction code A, meaning awarded shares. So you had Mark, Eric, and Gagnon. So again, Lucid loves to do that. Lucid loves just to give out shares. So it is what it is. Let me know your general thoughts on that. Only other thing I wanted to kind of bring up was posted by Lucid Oasis, and it looks as though that Lucid is shipping more vehicles to 11 new countries. And yeah, I think that's a good thing, but is this a catalyst? Is this a reason to stop what you're doing and buy Lucid because they're shipping various vehicles to many embassies on a worldwide scale? I personally don't see that, and I would rather wait to actually look at their financials just to see if these were actually like transactions, if these were sales, because I've seen more than enough companies out there that do this type of action that it's the company, such as Lucid, giving them away, more so for marketing purposes. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't really jump up and down, and I don't really see this being a crazy catalyst. I know a lot of people really were kind of very excited about this, but I would rather wait to see on their financials on how they are coding this, if they're just coding it as under marketing or some sort of other deal. I think we have to kind of wait and see. But shorts today are increasing 1.19 million shares. They've been really increasing quite a lot over the last couple of days, so they just feel that Lucid is really destined to go down. But 30.87% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 380.62 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 16.05, so that again has been really inching up for the last week and a half. So roughly a week ago it was at like 7, so good to see as far as that. But in order for shorts to really feel the need to return, I think Lucid, as I've complained over the last couple of videos, needs to put out something. I'm not going to waste your time and complain about that anymore. But aside from that, looking at the options, 193,000 in calls, 31,000 in puts. So very low volume for Lucid options today, but Of the options, 49% of all of it being done are bullish in nature. Of the bulls, there's a consensus for it to be above that 250 mark for the foreseeable future. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be pretty much sub 2, and that's more oriented towards July. So, and I believe that would be probably targeting Lucid's Q2 numbers when they put that out, not their actual earnings. That should be probably beginning of August. I think that's typically when they do it, like August 5th, 6th, something like that. But nonetheless, let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. With that 217, it is trading right now between this pivot and this S1. 214 is going to be a strong support. 221 followed by 227 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. So Lucid seems to be struggling a little bit with this pivot point of 221. So just watch for that over the next couple of days for it to close above that, ideally. Aside from that, no real articles coming out whatsoever. The only one was just a general auto tire truck report, and that was done 11 hours ago, so nothing crazy whatsoever. No new analyst ratings, and I've been monitoring just to see if analysts have been changing their estimates for their upcoming earnings, even though Q2 hasn't essentially concluded yet. Still nothing really coming out from them. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. But on the actual chart itself, still not looking all that great. So 217 is going to be pretty much where it's at, though, is going to be that key pivot. So that is that ALMA. Because of it recently moving higher, stochastic RSI is getting relatively overbought somewhat. So if it does kind of move higher to, let's say, that 222 or potentially even higher, this is where, again, you'll see a stochastic RSI in the overbought status, meaning first sign of weakness, you could see a even greater pullback. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your kind of thoughts on this? I know what I mentioned might be unpopular opinion, and a lot of people want to always assume the most optimistic kind of scenarios, but do you think that it's bullish that Lucid is giving all these vehicles away, essentially, maybe for free, of course, but I think in general, I don't know how beneficial it might be for Lucid to be giving vehicles away to Spain, Greece, Argentina, Venezuela, Chile, because if it's in Germany, yeah, that might be good marketing because Lucid already has infrastructure to sell there. But Italy, like, they don't have any infrastructure there to sell. Chile, Venezuela, Argentina, Switzerland, they do, obviously, but still, I don't know how beneficial this will be for Lucid. So what's your thoughts on that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you are looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which are absolutely on point. Most recently was this one, ticker DLO. I did signal this one as a buy at $10.10 yesterday, and look at what happened since then. So there's a lot of bangers such as this, and honestly, even with this one, I feel like there's a hell of a lot more upside. So definitely worthwhile to pop over to the Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.